In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Question everything.
Trust nothing.
It's your boys, Keeper and Crusader, and we're here on a What If Wednesday, and we have got a fire show ahead. As y'all
no more taxes, baby. Let's go.
Let's go. No more taxes. No more taxes. We love the idea of it, but what does that actually look like? So we're going to dive into that. Speaking of, no more, we have not been very hot on the NFT front recently. So if you're not already involved, Danger Close Alpha, jump in there, get involved. We're trying to give away 5 Ethereum. And we got to get the rest of those sold. So dangerclosealpha.com. If you're not already involved, get in the Discord, get involved. We will have some new information coming your way on a Twitter space tonight. Yeah, dude, we are going to be talking about, those things that we're not going to say on here because we don't want to get in trouble. And we're going to have a full-on live conversation about what that looks like in the last 3 years, effectively, what has happened, what we believe is happening, where this is headed long term. If you want to be in a fire space tonight, a fiery space tonight, jump in there with us and listen. I know a lot of you are like-minded. Go ahead. Bring your friends that are not like-minded. We would love to hear. We want to hear both sides of it. I genuinely am here, all ears, to listen to the other side. So I'm excited about that this evening. That's going to be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's going to be that. As always, follow us on both of our Twitters. Follow us on TikTok. You're already subscribed to us here. Hey, and if you want to be a member, we're working on some things in the background for what are going to be our YouTube members. It is a little bit of a slow moving ball of wax right now because we have a lot of things going on. We have new intro and outro in the background happening, and there's just going to be some new things going on with the NFT. So make sure you stick around, and if you want to get involved with that, we're going to hook you up. That's available for you as well. So let's take a look at the markets, see what's going on. I think some of you probably have an idea. I know my portfolio has liked a little bit of the pump recently. So let's take a look. We've got the global market at $858.68 billion with B dollars. That's up 0.03. So pretty flat. But hey, Bitcoin's at 17,547. That's up almost 4%, 3.6%. Oh, I'm sorry. We just had a change of 4.17%. ETH, 1342. That's up over 7%. And then rolling on down, as you would expect, BNB up 8.5%, XRP up almost 7.5%, Cardano down a little bit today, but up almost 20%. And then rounding out the top 10, we got Polygon Matic, which has got a lot going on. There's a lot of big companies getting involved with Matic, so it might be one to pay attention to right now as they are continuing to build while this bear market's going on. Before we dive into the topic today, Crusader, do you have any TA little TA love you want to show, or we're not doing that today?
Yeah, I can show a little something here.
Okay. As he is pulling this up, guys, just remember there is a lot happening, and we want you guys to be a part of it. So the best way to do that is to obviously be following us on all the platforms, and Discord is probably the best way to really get into it. And it is free for those of you that aren't already in there. It's a free Discord at Danger Close Alpha. So jump in there and you'll get the information first. We send it out there first, always. So there you go. What are you laughing about?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
You making fun of me?
I was gonna say I didn't know the Discord was free. I thought you couldn't pay. That's why you weren't showing up inside the Discord.
No, hold on a second. No, what? What? No. Whoa. What did I miss? What did I miss?
The reason why you guys don't see Keeper in the Discord, he can't afford the monthly payment for the Discord, guys. That's the problem.
Yes, it definitely is that. It is definitely that.
Kidding. The Discord is free, guys. It's free.
Yeah, it's definitely free.
But here you go. I got the TA here pulled up. Took me a second to find it. But here, guys, you can see right here with Lux Algo. You guys can see here that somehow, some way, we're fighting this trend upward, right? We are hitting this upper band. We still have a strong sell signal here in the trend catcher. The buy signal that we got back here a few days ago, more than a few days ago now. It was on the second. Been able to hold, but it wasn't even a strong buy yet. We've been able to fix this cloud, this EQ cloud, go bullish, and we are fighting this upper band. How long can we stay going up? I don't know. I would personally think that this is going to come down at some point. These are definitely take profit signals. If you're on a trade, obviously not financial advice, but you're only going to stay up here for so long before you come back down, right? You see it back over here in this example as well. We went up against it for a while, and then we had a massive wick down and came all the way back down. And there's many examples of that in the past 4 hour chart. So, enjoy it while you can, but I don't think this is going to last long. We are in a bear market. The overall trend is very bearish. As we can see here in the MACD, we're barely hanging out. We just had a small little bounce off of here. I do not think this is going to be sustainable at all. This is a bear market little relief rally, if you want to call it, but I don't think it's sustainable. It's only a matter of time before we come back down.
Well, if we come back down, guess what? Still opportunity to continue to get your dollar cost average in. DCA, baby. Let's get it. As a reminder, tomorrow is TA Thursday. So if you come for just the TA, tomorrow's the day for you. And we have a special guest tomorrow.
Yes,
your boy Crypto Zombie K-Dub is going to be on tomorrow. Just got off the phone with him a little bit ago. Super excited to have him on tomorrow. So make sure you guys are here at 3 o'clock Eastern, as always. All right. Without further ado, let's dive into it. It's What If Wednesday. What if we actually abolished the IRS? So I don't know if any of you have seen this. Maybe you have, maybe you've already heard, but we're going to dive into it, and we're really going to deep dive into it and what this looks like extrapolated out. Okay. Basically,
big plot twist too.
What's that?
It's a big plot twist with the whole 87,000 IRS army recruits that they're getting. Now we're hearing about an abolishment of the IRS. So interesting. No doubt.
It's definitely flip-flop going the other direction if this indeed would happen, and we're going to dive into that. So basically, the Republicans in the House of Representatives are voting on a bill known as the Fair Tax Act. It aims to abolish the IRS and replace national income tax with a national consumption tax. I'll tell you what that is in just a minute. The bill was introduced by Georgia Republican Buddy Carter and is part of a deal between House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and members of the House Freedom Caucus. The bill eliminates, check this out, the bill eliminates national personal and corporate income taxes, as well as abolishing the IRS, implementing a national sales tax, getting rid of death, gift, and payroll taxes, and replacing the current tax code with a, again, national consumption tax. So real quick, let me touch first on what a national consumption tax is. Then we'll dive into how this affects things. We're going to look at the good, the bad, the ugly, and where this could lead us down the road. So bear with us here. National consumption tax is a type of tax that's imposed on goods and services. They are all goods and services with consumed within the country. The most common type is called value added tax. It's VAT is the way that they abbreviate that. It's a tax imposed on the value added to a product at each stage of production or distribution. Essentially, the difference between the product's cost at the wholesale level and the retail level. So it's usually collected at the point of sale by the retailer and then remits that tax back to the government. Okay, so that's one way. The other form of consumption tax is the sales tax, typically assessed at a fixed percentage of the price of goods and services and collected at point of sale by the retailer. The revenue by that consumption tax is typically used to fund government programs and services. And it's important to note, says here, that the tax systems can vary greatly depending on the country, state, or municipality. And hey, you already know where we are. We're in the United States. So let's first of all start with this. Crusader, what is your initial, without diving deep into where we think this is headed, whatever the case may be, what's your initial thought on this?
Well, initially, with just looking at the overall, what everything means when you're hearing about this, it sounds like a good idea, right? It sounds like, hey, this is something we can get behind, right? Abolishing the IRS, right? Maybe no more crypto taxes, right? And all these things. But I think there's a lot more to the story than obviously these articles are telling. And I think there's more at play here than just what we're seeing currently.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It always feels kind of feels good and looks good on the front end. One of the things that I don't like and have always been, have always talked about is that there's a reason that this is happening, and there's always some sort of a kind of backdoor thing happening. And so that's what we're going to get into. So let's look at the good and the bad. Now, this is what I'm about to show you. This is not just an opinion, but this is something, other people have tried this before. Other countries have tried this before, and there's been good and bad that have come from it. So let's start off. Let's look at the good. We'll talk about that. Then let's talk about the bad. So let's kick it off with the pros and cons. All right. I'm going to pull this up. So the cons. Oh, I'm sorry. The pros. We want to start with that. The pros.
Might want to zoom in a little bit. There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Households could avoid paying most taxes each year. It says, assuming there's an exemption for the purchase of used goods, a household could potentially go throughout a full tax year without paying much, if anything, in taxes. So this could help more people be able to put money away for retirement. Okay. It would increase the overall tax base. Number two, everyone gets taxed, even the people that are in the country illegally. Okay. Remember that illegal cash flow would theoretically get taxed. It could increase worker productivity. Basically, you receive a higher tax rate when you make more money, in the US anyway. Introducing this consumption tax, they're only taxed when they consume something and the tax rate's the same. This gives people the opportunity to improve their standing in, how they live their life. Number four, no new taxes will be placed on investments. This is huge for us. You, the people, we, the people. This benefit would benefit the wealthy class because they have few tax responsibilities on what's typically their largest portion of income, which is, hey, investments. That's what we talk about all the time. We're not financial advisors. We're not here to give you financial advice. But what we do know is that a large portion of our funds, our money, our income goes towards investments because long-term, we know what that's going to do for us. And number five, it could reduce the national debt. So obviously, we are tens of trillions of dollars in debt. And we've got a bunch of obligations, not just outside the country, but within to ourselves. If we got increased funding that potentially you could get from this, the debts could be reduced or potentially eliminated. So let's start with this. Crusader, I will keep this pulled up if you want. Talk to me. I guess I don't have to keep it up, but I don't think you're going to be able to see it. Talk to me about what you think about these. Avoid paying taxes most every year, increase the overall tax base, productivity, no taxes on investments, and could reduce national debt. Thoughts?
Bullish.
Bullish. That's your only answer. Just bullish.
Bullish. I mean, obviously, right? If you start thinking taxation is, theft, right? Everybody talks about that. Especially if you're on the right side of history, right? The whole Boston Tea Party was based off of 3% tax on tea. Obviously, there's more to that story than just that, but that was the general story of taxes, and this country has walked away from that thought process and heavily embraced taxing everything at ridiculous amounts. So this talk of reducing not just reducing taxes, but eliminating taxes, right? Because the whole debate of reducing versus taxing more, always back and forth, all fugazi. But the process of actually eliminating taxes from the overall American is a very bullish thing. Is it going to happen though? I don't know. I think there's definitely some possibilities that it can, but I think there's a lot of optics at play too that just makes you look good talking about eliminating something, knowing that you're gonna not win that battle, and then be like, but we tried, and if there was more people like me in here, then we could make it happen. So make sure you vote for me and my friends. So
yeah, I hear you. I think that there is on the front side. So, if you are a household that just doesn't spend a wild amount of money on things that you just otherwise don't need, it's going to help you be able to save long term. That's just a fact, because you're not, think about it. Somebody that, let's say you own your house free and clear somehow. Let's say you own your car. Somebody that's really frugal or has been really diligent over the years, maybe drive a little bit older vehicle, whatever the case may be, and just don't spend money very often. Well, then they're able to continue to stack on that. Whereas just with how things are set up right now, hey, you're making money. You better either A, figure out the tax code with an accountant, or B, it's time to pay the piper, depending on the kind of money that you make. We talked about it earlier, Crusader. Why, assuming the tax code wasn't there, why should someone that makes $500,000 pay more taxes than somebody that makes 50,000? Now, more, yes, but on a percentage basis, doesn't really make a lot of sense. It basically penalizes the person for being successful. I know why. It's to pay the government more so that they can pay off all their debts. But the problem is we don't love what the government's done, or at least I don't love what the government has done with our money. That is for sure. The no taxes on investments, dude, huge, right? That one right there, I love, because when I take money, it is all it right now, it's effectively post-tax money that's going to, right? Because I still owe taxes on the money. And then you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't, I'm paying taxes on it straight up right now on in a large, number moving forward, depending on what kind of investment it is. I love the idea of saying, hey, if you're going to be someone that looks towards your future and you're trying to grow that for you and your family, well, we're going to be able to bless that, and you're not going to be taxed on that, which would be huge. In terms of national debt, I think it was Karen said something about don't make she said, I pulled it up, says reduce national debt, don't make me laugh. Yeah, I agree with you, Karen. It's an article, right? It's definitely that. I don't know that we're ever going to reduce the national debt. Quite honestly, that's what we're going to get into here in a minute as to part of why maybe some of these conversations are happening. But the reality is they're at least talking about ways to make changes. Hopefully some of them end up being good. I don't know. So there's the other side of that. Let's take a look at the other side. The other side for this is the cons. So I'm gonna blaze through these a little bit, and we'll talk about these. So to replace traditional tax structures, it would need to be quite high. So it says it would need to be about 23 to 24% for all qualifying goods. Then it goes on to miscalculate this number. It says if your $100 item suddenly costs 134, well, I got news for you. Well, they put 23 to 34. Never mind. I thought it said 23 to 24. Yeah, 23 to 34%. And now all of a sudden something's 134. It might discourage people from making purchases. I could see that. For the
that's
tax,
a good thing.
Well, what do you mean?
Stop spending, start saving.
Oh, yeah. Well, but if the country continues to work on velocity of money, that doesn't help, right? The money
bad for the country, great for us.
Yeah, great for the individual. For the consumption tax to work, it must tax everything. It says nothing's off limits besides used goods. Okay, so check this out. So the used goods, ultimately, is that one of these? Yeah, right here. It jumps down to number 4. So the used goods, the prices will explode because if new products are subject to a tax of, let's say, up to 34% or whatever, most people are going to say, hey, I'm buying used. I'm not paying 34%. I'm buying used. So now you just have basically supply and demand in play there. So that could be bad. And then number 5, some retirees could be taxed twice. This gets in a little bit deeper, but it basically says a Roth IRA or something like it has already been taxed. Upon withdrawal, something like that, those funds will be taxed again for the same purpose. I would think that they would be able to figure that part out. I would think that as part of this, they have it as, all the way across, but I would think that there would be some things that would be exempt. I could totally be wrong, but I would think if they're not going to tax investment vehicles, that is an investment vehicle. So I don't know why you would get taxed again for somebody that had already been taxed on it. So
well, I think it's what they're referring to is like, since pricing of things are going to get higher when they take that money out and they go spend it, they're paying like an invisible tax on it, right? It's being double taxed because they're paying higher taxes on it.
Or you're saying you're saying you think that once they spend the money.
Yeah. Once they're spending, right, since the items are gone up from $100 to $134, they're paying that $34 tax on all the items or whatever. I think that's what they're referring to.
Let's go to the chat real quick. Say hi to everybody. Want to remind everybody, smash the likes. Take a quick, brief second if you're in the live chat. If you're on mobile, just X out. Jump over real quick, hit the like. Unforgettable Name, good afternoon, says 99% sure if this was accepted, they would push socialized medicine, including a raised value-added tax. I would tend to agree with that, right? The news story in Social Security. Hold on a second. Oh, never mind. That was I totally read that wrong. Forget it. Voluntary taxes or no taxes, period. Flat smack. Let me ask you something. You say voluntary taxes or no taxes, period. Let me ask you a question about that. Who's going to voluntarily pay taxes, my brother? Because if you said to me, Keeper, this year you can either pay taxes or not, I'm picking not paying taxes, right? Now, you would hope that you would say, well, the taxes are used for the good of the people and it provides X, Y, and Z. But people vote for things that are for the good of their economy, and they vote them down because they don't like the tax increase that comes along with it. So though I understand the idea of what you're saying, I can't see that ever working. But yeah, I just want to say hi, Enzo and Karen, and Unforgettable Name and Crypto 420. We got your boy Burke in the house, Divvy Daddy. How is everybody? I appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys for being here. Hopefully everybody's having a blessed day. Sack Nasty in the house, Secret Soul Society, Puddles. We got the whole clan. So thank you guys for being here. All right. So Crusader, here's my question. My question is, let's assume that they were able to make this work. So they do this. First of all, you told me earlier something that I did not know. And you said that there's a problem. There's a speed bump that would need to be hit first. Tell me what that is.
Yeah, so according to what I was seeing was basically the income tax comes from within the 16th Amendment, so they would have to repeal that from the Constitution. So that's going to be a process way outside of what this bill is already doing. Right? They could eliminate some other stuff, but the income tax and the IRS situation would definitely have to come into the Constitution, and repealing something is going to be difficult. That being also said, right, the Republicans aren't in full control of Congress and everything that's happening. So it's like now they're making this push for this, but there's been plenty of times in the past where the Republicans have been in full control, and it's not like they just came upon this idea now. It was like, what a revelation! Hold on, what if we just didn't tax people on their income? Right? This is not a new revelation. There's something they've known about. Everybody's known about it, but they've never done anything about it when they were in control. Now that they are not in control, they're talking about it. This is the part where I was saying earlier about optics, right? It makes them look good so that when they lose this battle, then they can say, hey, if there was more people like us, right, from our side of the party in power, presidentially, Congress, whatever, then we could possibly do it. That would be the optics to get more votes, to get more people to vote to the right. And that situation. The other situation is with the whole IRS and no taxation and tomatoes and potatoes, they're gonna have to start printing a lot more money, right? And
Are they?
Mentioned? I mean, if we don't, a lot of people say, "Hey, why do you tax us if you can just print money, right?"
Okay.
Why collect taxes when you can just print it? But the what I was gonna get to is, instead of printing money, I think their solution is going to be the CBDC, right? What we've talked about earlier is, I think that's how they're going to get people excited about the US dollar, about the CBDC. Like, hey, we're getting rid of taxes. We're getting rid of the income tax. We're getting rid of the IRS because we're going to be introducing this new system that you no longer need it in, right? This new system is way more technologically advanced. And here's the CBDC, no income tax. Get involved with the CBDC, right? That's how you're going to save money, yada, yada. And a lot of people are going to jump on board. No taxes, and all I got to use this other thing that's pretty much just like the dollar, but in a digital format that there's no real change to the user as it is now, because money is almost practically digital already. It just hasn't been programmable. Yeah. I think a lot of people would jump on board for the CBDC when they start spinning this narrative of no taxes attached to it.
Yeah, think about it. So you go to the store, let's say they do push it in that direction. So you're right. Our current system is broken. If you don't know that already, you have not been watching this channel for any amount of time at all, right? The current system is broken and something needs to change, right? I had been talking about for well over a year that I thought we were moving towards deflation, which, side note, can be a really bad thing. Japan had been dealing with that for 20-something years because to get to deflation, you have to go through stagflation, which means people stop spending money, right? And that's just not how our economy right now works. We need that money to be spent and continue to move, right? And so you ultimately we're in a place, between a rock and a hard place. And it's like, what do we do? Well, the government loves the idea of taking away any and all privacy from you. This right here is already what's the word I'm looking for? It is the antithesis of of privacy. Like you have no privacy. Think about it. You'll say something between two people, and then all of a sudden you've got ads popping up for it and comes up on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, whatever the case may be, it happens all the time. You have no privacy anymore. So now the government can say, wait a minute, you have no privacy. So let's just slide in there. You have zero privacy with your money either. Now, think about this. Private businesses. Private businesses are offering a service. That service is getting paid for. You at that point would not have the opportunity. I once in a while will have people offer. Now, I would never do this, but once in a while people will offer to pay cash for a discount, right? At the point the CBDCs are there, this is no longer an option because they're going to basically phase out the use of the dollar. So what does it do? It literally does. It allows them to tax physically everything. So I think what they're looking at is, hey, at the point we move digital, we have full control over your lack of privacy and we can see everything. Now, if we can see everything, why do we not want to tax everything? Not just a little bit, a lot of it.
Maybe they won't go for the taxes immediately. I think initially what they're
Oh,
going
you
to
think
go
it's going to
for,
like rub your shoulders a little bit, make you feel
yeah,
good?
I think initially they're going to be with the whole less taxes or no taxes scenario with the CBDC, and then they're going to spin in because they're going to be giving up the tax money that they're going to be receiving for more control, right? That's going to be the trade-off for them. We're giving away our obligation of getting taxes from the people, but we have convinced them to give up more power. So now we have programmable money that we can tell them how to spend, when to spend it, with expiration dates. If anybody does anything that steps out of bounds of what we deem socially okay or not okay, right? Boom, pull the plug on them. They can't spend money. Their assets are frozen. Whatever they get hit with a penalty, right? Maybe a hate speech penalty for speaking somewhere outside or whatever. You get reported, yada yada. I think that's what's going to happen at first, and then maybe later we might start seeing the reintroduction of some level of taxation. But I think at first, right, it's going to be just how Uber and all these tech companies do it. They run at a loss for multiple years, right? Uber, what else was it? It's a lot of companies. It wasn't just
well,
Uber,
I'll tell you, Airbnb was doing
right?
it.
Super cheap. You would go on there, $100, $90 for these amazing places, and an Uber ride from here across town, right? Less than $20. Running at a loss for multiple years, getting that social network effect of everybody jumping on the platform, becoming not addicted, but very dependent on it. And then they say, well, now it's time to raise the prices, and people are so on the platform already for so long, they've built the habit. They're not going to back off now because the prices are going higher. They're just going to take it, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do with the CBDCs as well.
Yeah, I actually think that's a really good thought. I think that it would be maybe a little bit overbearing to go all in all at once. Now, all of a sudden, we've got this new digital money that they're going to try to make it as similar to regular money as possible. But then at the same time, now everything's getting taxed at effectively at a flat rate. It would be a lot to take in. So, yeah, I don't think that that's a terrible thought. People have said for a long time, Magic just put it up. What's up, Magic? Good to see you, brother. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Again, reminder, TA Thursday tomorrow, 3 p.m. Make sure you're there. The man, the myth, the legend, Magic Internet Money will be there with your boy Crypto Zombie. So K-Dub's going to be in the house with you tomorrow, Magic. But Magic said taxation is theft. And so, a lot of people would agree with that. You probably have two people on here that agree with that. Actually, I know you have two people that agree with that. The issue becomes, how do things get, how do government programs and war and all of the things that are a reality of life get paid for? And I think what happened is it might have started off that way, but it has taken a far right turn, and it is an agenda every single step of the way, not just for the left, for the right too. So don't get it confused, right? There is an agenda at hand. And what worries me about this is that it feels kind of good right now. It's like the idea, right? You're like, oh yeah, we're taking something back, baby, right? But as always, every action has a reaction. What is this reaction going to look like? That's my concern. The CBDCs are a scary thing that we've talked about a lot. And so
are coming, man.
They're coming, and I'm just hoping that the social credit system is not coming along with it. That's probably my biggest
definitely
concern.
is. There's no reason for the CBDCs to exist without the social credit system. And you mentioned earlier, right, the whole war effort, right? Like, oh, how are they going to pay for a war, right? This and that. There's no taxes. Well, just how they used to do back in the day when there was a war effort, right? They redirected the use of a lot of factories. So, hey, you're going to start producing this machinery. You're going to start producing these parts that are going to help us build these units that are going to help us, fight in the front lines. Well, same thing with the money. Hey, there's a war effort happening. Everybody automatically now is getting deducted X amount going directly to the war effort because that's just the way it is. And it's programmable. There's literally nothing you can do about it. There's no, oh, I'm going to go to my tax guy and at the end of the year, I'm going to get all this money back because, we're going to do a little bit of Fugazi tax money magic. No, none of that's going to happen. It's just, hey, the program is right now, there's a war effort. and all this money from all these people are going right over here.
I wonder if the average person broke this down. Let's use an easier number, 25%. I would have to really sit down and look at my income versus what I spend versus what, versus taxes on, property taxes combined with income tax, blah, 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 right? I wonder if the average person spends more than 25% on taxes. I'm going to guess the answer is yes. I'm going to guess that it is. The reason that I like the idea theoretically on the front end without the CBDC involved is because if as a whole, people are able to spend less money, but everything is taxed. And that allows us possibly to press forward into some better, some better places, economically, then I'm here for it. My concern, though, is it's all, like I said, it's all an agenda, and I don't see any other way around it. It just is. And if you're looking to get prepared for some of these agendas, hey, Danger Close Alpha, baby. DangerCloseAlpha.com. We are trying to get people prepared, not just in the crypto space, not just financially, not just with your stocks, bonds, crypto, all of that. We want you to be prepared for your family. And so I want to take a quick, actually, we'll take this towards the end here. I want to do the prepper tip of the day. I don't want to miss it. I almost did, by the way. This is a quick and easy one, right? This is literally like, what are some tips for doomsday prepping? This doesn't even need to be doomsday prepping. This is just basic prepping rules. Have your supplies ready. You can't do it in a rush. Number 2, don't store all your supplies in one place. You can see in this picture, that's a problem. You don't want your supplies in there.
Centralization.
That's right. You got to have a backup plan. Guys, there's always right here, plan B. And know that we're not talking about the pill. Have a backup plan, okay? Things don't always go as you want or as you expect. Talk to your family. Listen, this picture right here, this is the reason why we do what we do. We want you and your family to be prepared as we are so that we can all get together when things clear up, hopefully, and be one big happy family. And then number 5, store the food that you like. If you're going to store food and you're going to spend time doing it and you're going to spend money and you're going to do all these things, why are you going to do something with food that you just don't like? Pick some foods that you like, store those foods, figure out how to do it, blah, blah, blah. So, Crusader, overall, good or bad, lightning round, overall consumption tax.
What's the worst that can happen? We stay broke.
Okay.
Do it. Okay. Bring it.
Okay. So you would be up for a change.
Can't be worse than what we got now. And if it is, whatever. At least we tried.
Yeah. I think if
most people are already broke. If you get taxed, if you try changing the system, right, and somehow it ends up being worse than it was before, you're just a little bit broker than when you already were. Not much of a change overall.
I think that for me, because of how I live my life, I think I'd be down for it as well. And I think the investment side of things, if it actually did the things that were like the good side of things, I think those for me will outweigh the bad. I think that there's going to be times at which it's going to feel hefty and it's going to feel heavy and it's going to be like, oh my gosh. But then if you're able to be that person that long term is able to be a little bit frugal, but still live your life, you are going to benefit from something like this. And so I just say, hey, give us more information. Let us really see what this would look like. Tell us what that percentage looks like, right? Don't give me in a 12% range. I mean, 23 and 35% are vastly different. We're talking about less than a fourth versus more than a third. We're talking about on $100,000, you're talking about $23,000 versus $35,000. That is a massive difference. So I would want to know what that looks like. I would also want to know, are we staying with the US dollar or are we moving over to a central bank digital currency? And if so, are the CBDCs full on smart contracts, programmable money the way that we know smart contracts to be today? And at that point, I think maybe we have a different conversation because it could get scary. So I don't know. Crypto fam, you tell us down in the chat, what do you think about today's conversation? We appreciate everybody for being here. You could be anywhere on a Wednesday afternoon, but you're here with your boys from Debate Crypto. Make sure to jump in the Discord with Danger Close Alpha. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the show today. We love you. We care about you. Just remember to question everything.
Don't trust anything.
And until next time, hodl.
Like it's hot.
We'll see you soon.